In this video, I'm going to talk about carcinoma thyroid. It will be an MCQ based discussion. Okay, we'll start with the first question. Most common thyroid malignancy is. Okay, answer for this question is a straightforward and easy question. That is, answer is papillary carcinoma thyroid. We will discuss something about this thyroid neoplasm and their classification. Okay, so this is a classification of thyroid neoplasm. It is the table it has taken from the Bayesian law. It is basically divided into benign neoplasm and as well as the malignant neoplasm. The classical example for benign neoplasm, it is follicular adenoma. Malignant, again you can divide into primary and secondary. Primary, there are 4 types are there, 5 types are there based on the origin of the epithelium. For example, if the tumor is arising from follicular epithelium and it is differentiated, it is called as differentiated thyroid carcinoma. It is abbreviated as DTC. The classical example for DTC is follicular malignancy and papillary malignancy. And second type, another type is for the tumor arising from follicular epithelium, but it is poorly differentiated. It is called as anaplastic carcinoma. And the tumor arising from parafollicular C cells, it is called as medullary carcinoma of thyroid. And the tumor arising from lymphoid cells, you can define it as lymphoma. Secondary metastatic deposit, there are two types are there. One is metastasis from the other primary, you will get a metastatic lesion in thyroid. The classical example here, it is the tumor arising from a renal, that is a secondary metastatic deposit from the renal cell carcinoma will deposit here, and that is the commonest. This is also one of the important repeated MCQs. And local infiltration, that is a tumor that is arising from either from the trachea and esophagus, that is also will present as a secondary. We will discuss something about the incidence of this primary thyroid malignancy. If you see that tabular column, this is also a tabular column that is taken from the Bayesian law. If you see the tabular column, the papillary carcinoma, that is the question I have asked, that is the most common thyroid carcinoma is papillary carcinoma. That is, you can see that 80% of the primary malignancy, it is formed up by the papillary carcinoma. Okay, 10% it is follicular carcinoma, anaplastic 5, medullary 2.5, and lymphoma 2.5%. This is a second question. FNAC cannot detect which of the following. Okay, what is the answer? The answer for this question is, it is follicular carcinoma. Okay, FNAC has got an important role in evaluation of the thyroid swelling. Okay, FNAC, you cannot, only disadvantage in thyroid swelling FNAC is that you cannot able to assess that whether it is a follicular adenoma, whether it is a follicular adenoma or a carcinoma. The simple reason is very simple, that is, in carcinoma, follicular carcinoma, it is characterized by presence of capsular invasion and vascular invasion. Okay, so these characteristic features, that is vascular and capsular invasion, it will be elicited only by the histopathological examination. That means by biopsy only, not by FNAC. Okay, so that's why you cannot able to differentiate whether it is an adenoma or a carcinoma. So this is the reason why FNAC, it is not useful in detecting the follicular neoplasm. Okay, we'll go to the next one. And okay, so this is the words that is taken from the Bayesian law. You can read that one. Okay, so only it can be, differentiation can be made only by the histological examination, only by the histological examination, because a carcinoma is characterized by invasion of capsule as well as the vascular invasion. This is also another repeated question. Question number 3. Appropriate FNAC specimen of the thyroid contains. Okay. Appropriate FNAC. So adequate or appropriate FNAC. That means the patient should have clusters of follicular cells. So how many clusters it has to have? It has to be at least 6 clusters has to be there. That means 6 follicular epithelial cell and each containing 10 to 15 cells. Okay, each cluster containing 10 to 15 cells. That means you can call it as an appropriate FNAC specimen in thyroid. This is also common repeated question they will ask in the AIIMS exam. Okay, question number 4. This 40-year-old female patient presented with thyroid swelling, X-ray of the skull, and what is the type of carcinoma? Okay, so there are 4 types. Again, they are given all the 4 types. Okay, before going into the discussion about this question, first we will discuss that how this type of malignancy usually it will spread. Okay, you all know that the carcinoma it will spread through 3 modes. One is the direct spread, another one is through the lymph node spread, another one is the bloodstream spread. Okay, we will discuss one by one. The papillary carcinoma is usually it is more commonly it spread by lymph node metastasis. Follicular commonly it spreads through the bloodstream spread. Medullary carcinoma commonly through the lymph node metastasis, and anaplastic carcinoma it is a direct spread. Okay, as the anaplastic carcinoma it is spreading directly, it will be presenting with the local infiltration. Okay, so that's why you cannot able to do much in case of anaplastic carcinoma. Okay, the papillary and medullary carcinoma commonly it spreads through the lymph node. Okay, so for if follicular carcinoma it is spreading through the hematogenous spread, so it commonly through the blood it commonly spreads to bone, lung, and other organ like liver, brain. But common organ is the bone. Okay, so let us come to this picture. What you are seeing is the skull X-ray lateral view. You can see that multiple osteolytic secondaries. Okay, so the patient having a thyroid swelling presenting with the bony metastasis, always you have to think of follicular carcinoma. Okay, multiple osteolytic secondaries you can able to see in this X-ray. That is suggestive of follicular carcinoma. Medullary carcinoma of the thyroid arise from. So this already we discussed. Answer for this question is parafollicular C cells. Okay, and question number 6. This finding is seen in which type of carcinoma? Okay, this is an one picture. Picture is given. Again, another question will go to the next question also. These 2 questions will discuss together. Again, another question. This bodies is seen in all the conditions except. 4 options are given. Serous histoadenoma of ovary, mucinous histoadenoma of ovary, papillary carcinoma of thyroid, and meningioma. Okay, so what are the picture you have seen, which is nothing but that are features of the papillary thyroid carcinoma. So what are the features of papillary thyroid carcinoma? Papillary thyroid carcinoma, it is characterized by presence of papillary projection, number 1. Number 2, orphan Annie eye nuclei. Number 3, it is somoma bodies. Okay, papillary projection. Okay, you can see in this picture very clearly that a lot of papillae is present with the vascular core is also present. You can see this is papillary projection. So that is very much characteristic of papillary carcinoma of the thyroid. Okay, we will discuss about another thing is that is the orphan Annie eye nuclei. Okay, so this picture what you are seeing, it is called as orphan Annie eye nuclei. Okay, we will discuss that one. Okay, so this is a picture. What do you mean by orphan Annie eye, which is nothing but it is a cartoon character. Here you are seeing some cartoon character. No, this cartoon character is called as orphan Annie. Okay, so this character you can see the eye, it is an empty. It is empty in nature. Similarly, in papillary thyroid carcinoma, the nuclei will be empty. Okay, here you are seeing it is nuclei is empty. it giving a ground glass. The empty nucleus is empty, and it giving a ground glass appearance. Ground glass appearance. This is called as orphan Annie I nuclei, very much characteristic of papillary thyroid carcinoma. And apart from that, you will have the grooves, nuclear grooves. You can able to see the nuclear grooves. That is also very much characteristic of papillary thyroid carcinoma. This is the second feature. And third one is the Somoma bodies. Okay, Somoma body. Before that, I will show that in the question number 6. This is the what you are seeing is the orphan Annie high nuclei. In this picture, what you are seeing, you can able to see multiple orphan Annie high nuclei. You can able to see multiple orphan Annie high nuclei, which is suggestive of answer is papillary carcinoma of the thyroid. Okay, this bodies is seen in all the condition except. Okay, this is what you are seeing is the Somoma bodies. So what do you mean by Somoma body? Somoma bodies, which is nothing but it's a calcification. It is a micro calcification. Okay, micro calcification. It is concentric in appearance. Concentric in appearance. You can able to see that there are multiple Somoma bodies which are concentric in nature. Okay, so this is called as Somoma body. Somoma body is also present in case of papillary thyroid carcinoma. Okay, what about this carcinoma? This Somoma bodies is present in other conditions also. For example, it is present in the serous cystadenum of the ovary. It is present in the meningioma, and as well as papillary variant of the RCC, renal cell carcinoma. So Somoma bodies are present in these four conditions. So apart from that, a lot of conditions are there. What I am telling is the most important condition where you can able to see the Somoma bodies. It is not present in the mucinous cystadenoma of the ovary. Okay, so that is about the papillary thyroid carcinoma. That is the findings. Okay, next question. Which thyroid malignancy is common after radiation exposure? Okay, so this is also one of the standard straightforward question. That is, this question is related with the etiology. Okay, answer for this question is papillary carcinoma of thyroid. If you take the etiology of the thyroid malignancy, radiation exposure is one of the commonest cause. Particularly in papillary thyroid carcinoma, the radiation exposure in the childhood period. Childhood period, and suppose for example, if the patient is having a condition called lymphoma, and the patient underwent RT, radiation therapy, then there is more chances to get the papillary carcinoma thyroid in the future. Okay, and one of the incident, I will tell you that in the next slide. I will tell you that. And other etiology for genetic, what are the other etiology? Oncogene, that is ret PTC3 gene and ret PTC1 gene are responsible for the carcinoma of the thyroid. And Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is more chances to get lymphoma. Okay, so these are all some important history causes for the carcinoma of the thyroid. Okay, so this is a radiation exposure. This disaster, Chernobyl disaster, is very important event. A very most one of the worst nuclear blast that was happened in year 1986 in the place called Ukraine. So what happened? Once the nuclear blast was there, then most of the people they suffered with the morbidity and mortality. More people has got the radiation hazards, and particularly they will be presenting with the thyroid malignancy. That too, differentiated thyroid carcinoma, particularly papillary carcinoma of thyroid. Okay, there was a study was conducted that prior to that incident, there was 1 in 1 million people will be suffering from the thyroid malignancy, and after the incident, it came to 1 in 96 in 1 million, like that 100-fold it was increased. Okay, so this was our original scenario that was happened in the Chernobyl disaster. So radiation exposure is one of the commonest cause for the carcinoma of thyroid. Serum calcitonin is a marker for, it is a marker for, which is nothing but answer is very straightforward again. It is a marker for the medullary carcinoma of the thyroid. Okay, serum calcitonin as well as the serum, that is a carcinoembryonic antigen. These two are the tumor markers for the medullary carcinoma of the thyroid. Commonest presenting complaint of medullary thyroid carcinoma. Here, this is also a straightforward question where the answer is, which is nothing but it is diarrhea. Okay, so here this is the explanation. This is taken from the Bailey and Lowe, where you can able to see that first question we already discussed, that is a tumor is arising from the parafollicular C cells. It is arising from parafollicular C cells, and the tumor high level tumor markers are serum calcitonin and serum carcinoembryonic antigen. And the most common symptom is diarrhea. It will be present in up to 30% of cases. Okay, and another important thing, that is the presence of amyloid stroma. Amyloid stroma is very much characteristic of medullary thyroid carcinoma. So medullary thyroid carcinoma, it will be associated with the MEN syndrome, MEN 1 and 2 syndromes. Okay, and commonly it will be presenting with the pheochromocytoma, along with pheochromocytoma and hyperparathyroidism. So these three features you have to rule out. Okay, and another important MCQ, they will ask you, if a patient you are getting a pheochromocytoma and medullary carcinoma thyroid, so which surgery you have to do first? You have to do the pheochromocytoma first, because suppose if you are not doing pheochromocytoma, you are doing medullary carcinoma of thyroid, that is total thyroidectomy you are doing, there is more chances to get the hypertensive crisis. So always pheochromocytoma has to be done first, then followed by the medullary carcinoma of the thyroid. Okay, this is again on scenario. A 30-year-old female present with thyroid swelling for 3 months. Patient is a known case of lymphoma treated with the radiotherapy, and 15 years back on examination of the neck, cervical lymph node enlarged, most likely diagnosis. Okay, this is just now we discussed that prior exposure of the radiation, then definitely it will cause a carcinoma of thyroid. Answer for this question is it is a malignant goiter. Okay, for the same patient, what will be the pathological diagnosis? I already told that radiation exposure commonly it produces the DTC, that is differentiated thyroid carcinoma, and that too particularly papillary carcinoma of thyroid. Answer will be papillary carcinoma of thyroid. And so these are the explanation. Okay, this is taken from the Sabiston textbook of surgery, where you can able to see that the patient who received external irradiation for soft tissue malignancy such as Hodgkin's lymphoma have an increased incidence of thyroid nodules and cancer. This is the answer for first question. Second one, increased incidence of DTC, usually papillary. So that is the answer for second question. Then FNAC of the lesion will show. Just now we have discussed, I have shown that one. Orphan Annie eye nuclei. Amyloid deposit, it will be seen in the medullary thyroid carcinoma. Okay, this we already discussed. Last one, for the same patient, what will be the treatment for the above condition? Okay, so let us discuss some treatment about this. The answer for this, since it is papillary carcinoma, the treatment is total thyroidectomy. Okay, what is the treatment for papillary carcinoma of thyroid? PTC, what is the treatment? Treatment is nothing but total thyroidectomy plus central compartment neck dissection, central lymph node dissection. Central, what do you mean by central lymph node dissection? Which is nothing but level 6. So what do you mean by level 6? The lymph nodes that are present in the level 6 are pre-tracheal, pre-laryngeal, paratracheal and paralaryngeal lymph nodes. So you have to remove all the lymph nodes. And additionally, if the patient is having N1, that is the presence with the lymph node metastasis is there, then you can do the lateral neck dissection. That means you can, otherwise it is called as MRND, modified radical neck dissection has to be done. That is type 3 MRND you have to do. What do you mean by type 3? Which is nothing but preserving all the three structures, that is SCM, IJV and spinal accessory now, and taking out the lymph nodes. that is called MRND type 3, otherwise called as functional neck dissection. Otherwise called as functional neck dissection. So this is a treatment for the papillary thyroid carcinoma. And same, it is applicable for MTC also, medullary thyroid carcinoma also, the treatment is same only. For follicular FTC, the follicular thyroid carcinoma, the treatment is total thyroidectomy. As it very commonly spreads through bloodstream, there is no lymph node metastasis, then on the total thyroidectomy itself, it is enough. What about anaplastic carcinoma, anaplastic thyroid carcinoma? Anaplastic carcinoma mostly it will be presenting with local infiltration. Okay, so there is a much curative role at all. There is no curative role, only the palliative treatment. So if at all, if you want to do relieve the obstruction, you can do the isthmectomy. You can do the isthmectomy, or in some cases you have to do the tracheostomy. So that is a treatment for anaplastic carcinoma. Palliative and supportive treatment is a treatment for anaplastic thyroid carcinoma. Okay. Which thyroid carcinoma is having good prognosis? This is also very simple because you all know that the common malignancy is the papillary carcinoma. The same papillary carcinoma has got a very good prognosis. The worst prognosis is it's none other than anaplastic carcinoma. Okay, again, all are low risk group in differentiated thyroid carcinoma except male, age less than 40, tumor size less than 2 centimeter, grade well differentiated. Okay, before going into the discussion, how you are dividing the differentiated thyroid carcinoma into low risk and high risk. Okay, so first there are some categories are there. There are some gradings, clinical scoring gradings is there. One is called AMES, and next one is called AGES, and third one is called MASIS. Okay, so A stands for age, A stands for age, and M stands for metastasis, and E stands for extent of the lesion, and S stands for size of the tumor, and G stands for grade of the tumor, and MASIS, that is C stands for completeness of the resection, and I is nothing but is similar to that. It is I is invasion, which is nothing but it is extent only. Okay, so this is a clinical scoring system. AMES, AGES, MASIS is used in the differentiated thyroid carcinoma. Okay, you can see that, you can watch, you can carefully read this one. The prognosis I talked about, good prognosis in papillary carcinoma. You can see that papillary carcinoma can expect an excellent prognosis with a 10-year survival rate. 10-year survival rate, it is greater than 95%. Okay, and you see the scoring system again that we discussed. AMES, A stands for age, and METS, M stands for METS, and extend, E stands for extend, and S stands for size of the primary tumor. And again this is AG scoring system. Okay, based on this you will classify the tumor into low risk and high risk. So what do you mean by low risk? First one, age less than 40 years is low risk, more than 40 years high risk. Sex category, female sex, it is low risk, male it is high risk. And extent of the tumor, that is no local extension, intrathyroidal, no capsular invasion, then it is low risk. Capsular invasion, extrathyroidal extension is there, then it is high risk. And METS, it is no metastasis is seen in case of low risk, regional or distant metastasis high risk. And tumor size, if it is less than 2 centimeter, it is low risk, and more than 4 centimeter, it is high risk. Okay, and the tumor, it is well differentiated, and poorly differentiated, it is high risk. Okay, so based on these criteria, you can go to that question. So all are low risk group in differentiated except. So here the answer is it is male. Okay, because it is a male is a high risk category. Female is a low risk category. Okay, age less than, it is low risk. Tumor size less than 2 centimeter, low risk. And tumor grade is well differentiated, it is low risk. Okay, answer for this question is the male category. That is comes under the high risk category. Okay. Okay, so this is a this question is based on the TNM staging of the differentiated thyroid carcinoma. Okay, 32-year-old female, present at DTC with a tumor size 3 centimeter without involvement of nodes and metastasis. What is the TNM staging? Stage 1, 2, 3, 4 is there. I will go to the next question. The same question. 55. Only the age is changed. Only age is 55. All other things are same only. What is the stage? Okay. We will discuss the staging. Staging, you can see the tumor staging. This is the tumor staging. That is the T stage. T stage T1A is less than 1 centimeter intrathyroidal. 1B 1 to 2 centimeter intrathyroidal. 2 is, just watch carefully, 2 is 2 to 4 centimeter intrathyroidal, and T3 is more than 4 centimeter with minimal extrathyroidal invasion. And T4A is, it involves a subcutaneous tissue, larynx, trachea, esophagus, and recurrent laryngeal nerve. T4B is, it invades the prevertebral fascia and carotid and mediastinal vessel involvement. And regional lymph nodes, you can see that N1A is positive node in the level 6. Beyond it is N1B. Then M0, M1, M1 is the distant metastasis, M0 is no distant metastasis. Okay, based on that, you can divide into two categories. First one, less than 45-year-old, only 2 stages are there. More than 45-year-old, there are 4 stages are there. Okay, less than 45-year-old, you can watch carefully. Nothing that, only thing is, you can see that any T, any N with M0, that is called as stage 1. Stage 2 is anything that presents with any T, any N with the M1, that is stage 2. This is for less than 45-year-old. For more than 45-year-old, what is the stage? For stage 1, it is T1 N0 M0. Stage 2, it is T2 N0 M0. Stage 3, it is anything that presents with N1A. You can consider anything that presents with N1A. You can tell it as stage 3. Stage 4A, that is anything that presents with N1B. Anything that presents with N1B and T4A. You can call it as stage 4A. And similarly, stage 4 is anything that presents with T4B. Then stage 4C is anything that presents with the M1. You can call it as stage 4C. So this is the classification of the TNM classification and staging of the disease. Okay, we will go back to that previous question. What is the question? Okay, this is 32-year-old female. 32-year-old female. That means it comes under, comes under less than 45 year. It comes under less than 40. First thing is, it comes under less than 45 year. And lesion size of the lesion, it is 3 centimeter. 3 centimeter means it is T2, because T2, you know that it comes under T2 4 centimeter. It is T2. So without node involvement, then it is N0. Without metastasis, then it is M0. So T2 N0 M0 less than 45 years. What is the stage? It comes under stage 1. Answer for this question is stage 1. Okay, go to the next question. The age only factor age is changed. That is, age is more than 45 years. Okay, more than 45 years. Here the same stage only. That is the T2 N0 M0, age more than 45 years. Then what is the stage? Here it comes under stage 2. Okay, it comes under stage 2.